Hey everybody, let's all ride the trolley, or at the very least, look at a bunch of variations on the classic trolley problem, just for the heck of it. What would I do in any of these situations? Well, I guess we'll have to find out, won't we? So let's get at it. I've wanted to do this for a very long time now, but I never really got to it. This is a look, kind of, at the classic trolley problem on a site called Neil.fun, where he goes through a bunch of variations on the classic trolley problem and lets you pick what to do. The trolley problem is, in short, if you saw a trolley rolling towards something, typically people tied to the track, would you divert the trolley and have something else happen or not? So let's get going and see what I'd do and why. So starting off, oh no, a trolley is heading towards 5 people. You can pull the lever to divert it to the other track, killing one person instead. What would you do? Now, personally, in a lot of these, you'll see that I think you're going to find I'm not going to do anything. Because here's the thing. If you make a choice, then whatever outcome, no matter what it is, it's now your fault and your responsibility. You took action and you made it happen. If you do nothing, then it's just the world being the world and it's not your fault. It happens as it would if you weren't even there at all. Now, there are all kinds of justifications you can throw in there, but mine is really simple. I'm a realist. Shit happens. So let's let them splat and then we'll see some results at the bottom. Only 27% of people agree with me. Too bad. There's a lot of factors that go into this. First, I don't know any of these people, at least the trolley problem doesn't say that I do, and therefore, I'm sorry, but I've got no vested interest in them at all. I'm not a humanist, remember? I don't necessarily care if random people die. Lots of people die every single day, and we don't know why these people are on the tracks in the first place. Did they tie themselves up? Did they deserve it? Therefore, without some kind of answer to a whole lot of questions, I'm just going to let it happen. Moving on. This time, and I'm just going to summarize most of these without reading the text on screen, but you can divert it to hit 4 people instead of 5. And my answer is pretty much the same. Maybe a whole bunch of people want to commit suicide by trolley today. I'm not going to deny them. The fact that it's 4 instead of 5 doesn't bother me one bit. According to the World Health Organization, more than 700,000 people kill themselves every single year. The world leader for that, if you're curious, is South Korea, just per 100,000 people. If that's what these people want to do, then more power to them, as long as it's their decision and they're not being bullied into it or coerced or whatever. We have no indication of what has happened for any of these people to be on the tracks, and it's not my job to decide why they're there. So, another 5 go splat. Let's watch. Here, 33% of people agree with me. Now, I don't really care. This is not a popularity contest. I'm just letting the problem run as it does. The same thing that I said for the first question, the classic trolley problem, they go here as well, and they probably will for quite a few of these. So, next. Oh, look, more idiots on the tracks. I can either hit 5 people or destroy my life savings. Now, I think we're going to have to address the reality here because these questions, let's be honest, they are really dumb. There is no way that my life savings, or anybody else's in the modern world, could possibly be destroyed by a trolley especially, as I said, in the modern era. Because most of it is electronic and decentralized. It's not like you've got a bunch of cash under your mattress that can be stacked on the tracks. And even if there was, just being hit by a trolley wouldn't destroy all of it. You might get some crinkled up $100 bills, but you can fix that, right? You can take it to a bank and have them exchange them as long as you've got all the bits and pieces. You also have to ask yourself just how much of that stuff you could actually stack on the tracks before the trolley would just stop. I mean, this isn't some rocket-powered trolley. If you put your house up there, if you could possibly do that, it might punch through the wall, but that can be fixed and it wouldn't get that far into the house, would it? You can't really think about these questions too much or it just gets silly. Plus, here you've got a potential personal snake in the answer. You might save those people that you have no reason to care about in the first place, but then you lose everything. So between these two elements, I'm going to do absolutely nothing. If it was your personal fortune will get destroyed if you don't pull the switch, yeah, that might be something else, but that's not the question being asked, is it? Here we're up to 40% of people who agree, and I haven't really done anything different, right? I could have gone out to lunch and nothing would have changed. And I think that's kind of funny, don't you? But anyway, let's continue. Let's see, 5 people versus me. Well, I do have a vested interest in my own survival. Everybody does. And if the situation was reversed, then I would absolutely pull the switch, although honestly, I don't know how I could if I'm tied to the tracks. What am I supposed to do? Grab it with my teeth? Like I said, you just can't think about these too much because they're kind of dumb if you do. I don't know, maybe I've got an electronic switch in my pocket? I don't know. Or maybe I've got Superman on speed dial. I've got no clue. However, these people are dead, and I'm not going to feel bad about it at all. Me versus random strangers? I pick me. Granted, there could be some nuance here. What if I was old or sick? I mean, I am old, but I'm healthy. What if I wanted to end it all? Then it really wouldn't matter what was on the other track. I'd be pushing that button, right? This is why thinking about it doesn't help, because you wind up reading things into it that aren't actually there. I'm trying really hard to stick to what's actually on screen. Therefore, I'm sticking with doing nothing, although it is mostly for the same reason I always have. Let's see the statistics, though. Hey, we're up to 61%, and really, I don't know how honest a lot of people are being. No, I'm not necessarily doubting other people's sincerity, but I'm not either. And this goes back to something that I've asked a lot around here. How many people who report being religious, part of a dominant religious belief structure, actually believe it, and how many are just saying they believe it because they think it makes them look good to the neighbors? How many are actually being honest? And that's a good question, even for a test like this, where it's presumably completely anonymous. I mean, if you're not taking it with somebody looking over your shoulder. How many people allow what they assume people are going to think about them to color their answers? I have no idea. You tell me. This time out, it's those 5 dumb motherfuckers on the track versus the Mona Lisa. Now, in this case, I would probably pull the switch. Now, I don't care about the art per se, original as specified here, but let's be honest, how many copies are out there? How many people would honestly miss it? How many people have ever been to the Louvre to see the original? I haven't, and I don't care. I don't think the Mona Lisa just hanging in a museum is doing anything of demonstrable substance to better mankind, whereas one of these losers might, or might not, I don't know. Still, the chances that one of these trolley targets might get up and do something worthwhile is a lot higher than a painting just hanging on a wall doing anything. So in this case, they're going to get a nod. Anyhow, that's my rationalization. What's yours? 76% of people agree. And that's a whole lot of art haters, right? Now, I probably would have said the same thing about any physical object that I didn't personally own or have any kind of attachment to, and that didn't have a direct and demonstrable impact on my life. Let it get destroyed. I don't care. I'm not that concerned. Onward! What do we get to run over next? Okay, a bribe. Some rich guy wants to pay you to pull the switch. Well, I guess it depends on how much, let's be honest. But in pretty much all situations, no, I'm not touching the switch. Let the fucker die. I don't really care. I am not for sale. Meanwhile, I'm going out for lunch while the trolley goes by because I'm not for sale. I don't need your money. Next. Here, 48% of people agree, and I'm really a little surprised it isn't higher, just for the sake of virtue signaling. See, I can't be bought. Or the inevitable, well, I'm jealous of people who are successful, so I'm going to squish the fuck. And I see a lot of that out there. You know what might have changed my mind? If someone who was demonstrably doing incredible things for the world on the track versus somebody who had never done anything worthwhile. Then I figure I'd probably be pulling that switch. What can you do for the world that might not get done if you become trolley pizza? Again, that's overthinking the problem. You're not supposed to be thinking about things that aren't in the question because these are not part of the question, right? But I figure we're all a little prone to that anyhow, right? So, how about you? What would you do? Five lobsters against a cat. I figure deconverted man would probably hate this. He'd be yanking that switch all damn day. Again, five random lobsters to which I have absolutely no attachment against a cat that, at least in this example, I also have no attachment. Yeah, I'm going out to lunch. Or maybe I'll wait till the trolley goes by and have lunch right there. Who knows? I mean, I like lobster. In fact, just thinking about that makes me want to go out for seafood. That aside, though, if I don't care about random people, I'm not going to care about random lobsters either. Now, if there were puppies involved, that might be another matter. And I might switch tracks if it was 5 kittens and a bunch of lobsters on the other side. But that's not the question that was asked, was it? So, onward. 84%. I'm not at all surprised by that since people tend to be a lot more attached to cute and cuddly critters, and lobsters, whether deconverted man likes it or not, they're not cuddly. I don't think they're popular pets anywhere, not that that really matters. It's just interesting seeing where I think people are getting their emotions involved. I'm actually a little bit surprised it isn't higher. 5 people who won't feel pain against one who will. Well, I don't know that being asleep means that you won't feel pain. If they were in a medically induced coma, yeah, that might be something since they can't wake up. But how do 5 people in comas get on the tracks in the first place? That's another question entirely. But no, I'm still not doing anything because none of these minor variations are really changing my mind. So let the trolley run. At least I don't have to clean it up. 49% of people agree. I mean, it's not like these people can't wake up or anything when the trolley starts to go over. And I don't really think that pain only exists in the conscious mind, which is why I brought up the whole coma thing, even though we don't really know how pain is processed in the subconscious either. Again, overthinking doesn't get us anywhere, so let's just keep going. 5 people who tied themselves to the track somehow against someone who is just stupid and tripped and fell on his face, and I figure he probably deserves it. This is one of those cases where you probably need two trolleys because I've got absolutely no sympathy for any of them. This is probably closer to that suicide discussion that we had earlier. It doesn't bother me at all. If you want to die, go for it. I don't care. I might make the trolley back up a couple of times just to make sure. And that guy on the top, though, I'm just going to park the trolley right on top of him and make it peel out. And really, why's the guy who tripped and fell pictured being tied up? Did he tie himself up before he tripped on the tracks? Because I think that would be kind of interesting to watch. He's still got to die, but it would still be really funny to watch. 79% of people agree, just let the trolley go. Now, I think it's funny that there isn't an option to just stop the trolley, since in the animation, the trolley's just kind of sitting there until you decide. Couldn't you just walk over and stop it in every single case? Granted, there wouldn't be a dilemma then, but I've never really been an A or B guy. Work outside the box if you can, but that's probably a little high-minded for most people taking this quiz, isn't it? Five versus one, but the switch just makes the trolley go faster. That's one thing that I've been wondering this whole time. Exactly who's running the trolley anyhow? Don't most of these things have, operators? I mean, you can't exactly just walk up to a convenient switch and just send random trolleys wherever you want them to go, right? They have some kind of security, don't they? But anyway, I'm not touching the switch. Fast or slow, they're doomed, and it doesn't say that it will make it less painful, only that it might. It also might make it worse, who knows? So I'm going back to lunch. See y'all when it's over. And there's 28% of people who just can't read. I picked up on might right away. Now, it's probably a value judgment. It could be, it kind of makes sense to me, but there aren't really any guarantees here, are there? Plus, unless this is being an incredibly slow trolley, how long can it take anyhow? A second or two? What's 1 second versus 2 seconds, or 1 second versus half a second anyhow? So, yeah, I'm going out for lobster. Anybody want to join me? One guy against a late Amazon delivery. Well, I can take a late Amazon delivery. They're late a lot anyway. So in that case, sure, I'll go ahead and pull the switch. I mean, Amazon's at my door 2 to 3 times a week anyhow, and I'm generally not ordering anything all that time sensitive, so I'll just throw the guy a bone and pull the switch. Now, if they were going to run over my Amazon delivery, that might be a different question, although Amazon, granted, would just replace it. And even though I'm not trying to cost them money unnecessarily, who the hell puts an Amazon delivery on trolley tracks anyhow? So, sure, in this case, I'll just pull it. 79% of people agree, which is fine. I mean, hell, Amazon is late half the time anyhow, so I probably wouldn't even notice. Oh no, Amazon didn't arrive, but it'll be here tomorrow, and if you cancel, you just get a refund, so what difference does it make? I see that a lot. Kind of a pointless question in my opinion. Next. My best friend against 5 strangers. Yeah, I'm pulling the lever. Now, I said earlier that so long as it doesn't affect me personally, which obviously this would, or doesn't have a significant effect on the world, which granted this wouldn't, then I'm just going to leave it alone. Therefore, 5 people go and splat. It starts to get a little strange when you start introducing a personal connection. If it's my wife or my kids or somebody I know and care about on the tracks, then they are getting saved. If it's somebody I absolutely hate, then they're a lot more likely to get squished. If it's somebody I don't even know, then I'm probably just going to walk away, unless there are no consequences whatsoever to saving them, at which point in time, maybe I will, maybe I won't. Not like I hang out next to trolley switches all day long anyhow. I've got too much else to do. "72% of people agree. Probably not with my reasoning, but I think we're all more apt to protect what's important to us personally than to just save random strangers, and that's pretty normal, I figure. With humans being a social species, we've got a relatively short list of people that we actually care about, and everybody else is, well, maybe, with the chances getting slimmer the farther away from the in-group that you get. And I'm just being honest about it, and a lot of people aren't." Now we're back to the original trolley problem, just with bad eyesight, which, yes, I figure is a kind of an interesting take, but it doesn't really change anything, does it? In fact, in this instance, it would probably make me less apt to take part because I can't even be certain what's going on. There could be an entire marching band on the other track for all I know. I'm just going to walk away and let reality happen because I could absolutely be making a massive mistake due to the failure of my own senses. And this would also go if it was just really, really foggy too. Oh look, it's a random switch. Who knows what might happen if I pull it? No, I'm just leaving it alone and I'm going out to eat. "47% of people agree. I guess it just is what it is. Meanwhile, I'm out having a nice lobster dinner, not responsible at all for what happens to all those people who just wind up on the tracks for some inexplicable reason. How is this happening anyhow? I mean, other than the people who tied themselves to the tracks or the idiot who just fell into bondage and deserved it, who is tying all these people up? Is there some rope-happy serial killer out there just tying random people to the trolley tracks? I must have missed that one in the news. Somebody, please explain." So anyway, that's where we're going to stop for today. This is taking a little bit longer than I thought, but I guess there are a lot of possibilities to explore. So what do you think so far? Have you taken this thing? And if so, how did you answer on this half? Don't spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen it yet. Let me know in the comments. Now, as a lot of people know, I don't tend to do a lot of hypothetical content. I want actual answers to actual questions and, hey, what about this? That doesn't tend to qualify. Ask me when it's a real possibility and I'll come up with an answer. But I've been wanting to do this one for a while, and sometimes you just get sick of the religious blather, so here we are. I mean, the alternating videos are Daniel King, so that explains a lot. 2 videos of trolley problem goodness. What does that really tell us, though? Probably not a lot, but at least we can do it and say that we did. And I'll be back next week with the last half, and maybe there's going to be some interesting stuff in there. Who knows? We'll just have to wait and see. So let me ask you this while I'm here. Do you like theoretical questions? Why or why not? I might try to do some more stuff like this if I get enough people who want the hypotheticals. You can throw me some videos or articles or even your own random philosophical questions and maybe y'all get something out of it. I don't know. I don't want to stray too far off the religious reservation, but hey, every once in a while might be fine, right? Anyway, I'll see you next time. You never really know what you're going to get.